the latest episode of The Lisa Pizik Show. Even though this podcast is named after me, it actually has absolutely nothing to do with me and everything about the wonderful guests that I bring on. And they're going to talk about they talk about their specific thing, the thing that they've mastered, the thing that changed everything for them in their life, so that you can hear their stories. You can get that nugget of wisdom that after this podcast, you're going to go and do something different. And that is our hope for you today. So today I have my friend Georgia Woodbine here with me. Georgia, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. And let me tell them all about you. So you are one of the world's top female speakers and expert personal and professional development, has helped to motivate and inspire an entire generation. You are a change agent, an author, a lifestyle transformation coach, seen as being dynamic and entertaining as a speaker. You've been featured in media outlets such as the Daily News, Huffington Post, Rolling Out Magazine, Cyrus Radio XM, and you've created curriculum and lectured at the Learning Annex, one of the premier producers of seminar, lectures, classes, and workshops all throughout North America. You've been a guest speaker at a whole ton of amazing colleges and a lot of other network organizations. And you've authored several books over 15 years of being an entrepreneur and your business success. And you've even worked in the entertainment industry with Def Jam, Polygram, Black Enterprise Magazine, the Apollo Theater, where you worked in management, promotions, and marketing skills. Now you've created and developed curriculum based around how to choose your career path, charting your success, and you've been a life coach for over 13 years. You've coached hundreds of people, and you capture your audience with the messages of hope, inspiration, the power of intention, their true purpose, and living a life that they love. Ooh, sister, I'm just like, is there anything that you cannot do? Like, these snaps, I'm fired up reading this. Because I think it just comes at such a fitting time where our world has been shaken up a bit. And especially us as women, definitely men too, but women, we tend to wear a lot of different hats and a lot of different opportunities in our life. And I think we're really starting to question, is what I'm doing working? Do I even enjoy this life or this role that I'm in? And why the heck am I even here? What is my purpose? What is my calling? And what kind of lights me up? So I love that we're having this conversation today. Tell us a bit about how you found your purpose or how you got started in this work.
For me, it was, and I think it's this way for a lot of people, hitting your head against the wall, getting to a place where you have absolutely no idea what the next move is going to be. You're faced with obstacles, you're faced with challenges, you're faced with setbacks and roadblocks. And so it really forces you to start asking yourself some serious, important questions. And for me, I always say the most important question you will ever ask yourself is, why am I here? And I asked myself that question about 16 years ago. Why am I here? You know, I was going through a lot. I was in jobs that I really didn't like. I was dealing with some serious health issues. I was a single mom, so many different things going on in my life. And I think that when you get to a point of being sick and tired of the way things are, that's when the transformation begins, because you're willing to face what you need to change. I always say you can't change what you don't confront. So you have to confront whatever it is that you're trying to change. And that's where it started for me.
You can't change what you don't confront. Ooh, I love that, right? That's so true. And it takes a bit of courage to confront those things and to want better. Would you say that a lot of people are like, why don't we confront those hard things? Or why don't we have that courage sometimes to make a change in our life?
The most common fears: fear of failing, fear of not having enough, fear of not having control, fear of loss, fear of what other people will think. That's the biggest reason why we don't go after the things that we want, because that fear inside us kind of holds us back from making those decisions and making those choices. As a lifestyle transformation coach, one of the things I always tell my clients is, forget everything you was taught. Forget everything that people told you growing up, that this is the way to live. This is what society says. This is where you need to be at this age. This is when you need to have a child. This is when you need to buy a house. This is when you need to do this. Forget about all that. And create the life you love based on what's important to you, what's valuable to you, what makes you feel good. And, that, I think, like you said, that's the hardest thing for people to do.
Start with your values, it sounds like, is what you're saying, and your joy. How many times do we feel guilty, or have you heard someone say, oh, I would love to do that. Oh, but it's not sensible, or I can't actually make money doing that, or what are they going to think of me if I go after this dream? Or if we share, because how many times have we shared our secrets or shared our dreams and someone shot it down?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think most of the times that because your gifts and talents are such a natural ability, you don't realize how valuable that is. Why? It's because it comes so natural to you. But to someone else, they'll look at you and say, wow, you're so good at that. Wow, you have a knack for that. Wow, that's easy for you, because it's your gift. We all have different gifts. We all have different talents. We all have natural abilities. Now, of course, we all have different type of skill sets based on what kind of education we have or what kind of job we was exposed to. And it's all about connecting those dots, taking all of those little pieces, what you love to do, what you're good at, what your gift is, what your talent is, what your skill set is, what your education is. What are these things, and how do I connect these dots to create the life that I love? That's what it's really about.
I love that, because I know I've seen this firsthand with the baby boomers, or even the older generation, like my parents, I think about in their 60s and their 70s and 80s, when they retire. And then they're like, I don't know, I'm so miserable, or I don't know what to do with myself, because they wrapped their worth and their value into a title, not connecting all those dots that you talk about. Because when you know what you bring to the table, you can bring it to any table that you want, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So how did you even know that you wanted to get into this kind of work? Like, what has your path been?
It was a light bulb moment for me. I'll tell you a quick story. I remember when I was going through that transition in my life where I was losing everything. I lost my home. I lost my car. I lost everything. Had to start all over. And I remember having a major flood in my home, and I lost everything. I mean, everything. The only thing that survived was my 10-year journal. I had it in the bottom of my closet, and I remember just writing. Writing for me was just like a therapeutical way to get through things, just to get through it. You know what I mean? Whether I was finding the answers or not, it was just helping me get through it. And I would just journal, and I would just write these things down. And so I remember when I had that flood, that was the only thing that survived. My papers were floating. It was about 4 feet water. And wow. my papers were just floating on the top of the water. And I remember picking up the papers, and not one sheet stained with ink, not one. And I remember just looking at and reading those and crying at, oh my gosh, I wrote this, when did I write this? When was all of these emotions and thoughts and purpose and all of these things? And I went back and I looked at it, and I remember that was in 2005. That became my first book.
Wow.
And that's when things started to make sense, because I had the gift to write, but I never in a million years thought about writing a book, because I never wrote a book. I didn't know how. I didn't know where to get started. I didn't know who I was going to need. And I remember just getting this spiritual connection of just things just coming to me, just like naturally. And I'm like, whoa. It's like you've been walking around with sand on your eyes, and all of a sudden somebody's like pulling the sand off your eyes, and you're like, okay. Like that movie Clueless, which is like, I love Josh.
Oh, I love it. Yes. That clarity, that hit of clarity. And, not that it takes a breakdown or losing everything for that to happen, but a lot of times it does, like I would love it if, as life coaches and strategists and the work that we do, that we could sit there and be like, be proactive and get ahead of the game. And some people do, but for the most part, it takes losing something falling apart, something unexpected happening in your life to really make you question, what am I doing? And if you want to go after something, it's like now or never. Like, I'm not putting that on the shelf and waiting for that perfect moment. Or, how do you see that a lot in your coaching, that people are like, oh, but I'm not ready, or, oh, but I don't know enough, or, oh, but I only have 100 words written. I don't have the whole book written, so I can't take it to anybody. Like, are people waiting to create the life they love?
They're always waiting. One of the ways I break that down to my clients is I say to them, when they say, Georgia, I want to change my career, or, I want to write a book, or, I want to find out what my passion is, but I just don't have enough time. I say, well, let's look at it like this. There are 168 hours in a week. Okay. So just let's look at that. Now, when you start to dissect your time and look at all the time you actually really have, what you really have to do is figure out, where are you losing time? It's not that you don't have enough time, it's that you are mismanaging your time. So it's really looking at it like that, because there's so many hours in a week. It's really about, well, what am I doing? Am I on my phone? Am I on email? Am I on social media? Am I on the phone talking? Like, look at your time and be more specific about what you want to spend your time doing. And that will make a huge difference in your life.
Yes. I had a mentor, Brendan Burchard, who I studied under, and he said, if I open up your planner, I will see what is important to you based on what you have or what you don't have in that. Like he said, we're very good about planning our health appointments and, car inspections, but where's your growth? Where's your learning time? Where's your passions? Where's your connection with your family? I know for me, I'm an old school pen and paper planner. And if you open up mine, you will see date nights with just, mommy and son time for my hobbies, time for my workouts, time for my reading and my learning. Like, I got color coded things everywhere, but you can see where I'm spending my time strategically on the things that move the needle for me. Right. And you're the same, right? Because you have a planner and you're a very big planner. So you're pen and paper like me.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. And you created a planner. So tell us about what you have in that and what you put in that and what makes a great planner for you.
Okay. So this changed my life. Planning, journaling. What I want to first share is that I always tell people to create a mission statement for their lives, because a lot of times people look at me and they say, Georgia, why do I need a mission statement? Those are for companies. Those are for organizations. Those are for not-for-profits. And I said, no. Create a mission statement for your life, because when you do that, what it does is it gives you focus. It gives you clarity. It gives you purpose. It gives you, that intuitiveness of what it is that you're trying to create. And so when I say it that way, they said, well, Georgia, what's your mission statement? I said, well, My mission statement is, I, Georgia Woodbine, am here to empower, inspire, and motivate 1 million plus people to transform their mindset to change their lives. So now everything that I do encompasses around my mission statement. So I'm not wasting time doing things that don't align with my purpose or my passion, or I'm not prioritizing my time around things that don't align with that mission statement. So that's what it does. It gives you clarity, it gives you focus, it gives you intention. And so that's why you need to create a mission statement for your life. Now, this journal, okay, this journal here transformed my life. Okay, I went from back in 2005 being depressed, frustrated, stressed out, afraid to leave my job, making in an hour what I was making in a week. Okay, and that's because I had to have that courage to try something different. You won't see something different until you do something different, because doing things the same way is just insanity, right? You've heard that quote, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different result. You will not get a different result, people. If you've been doing the same things, you've been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, you've been doing it the same way, but you're like, I want my life to change. It will not change unless you start doing things differently. So what I started to do is I started to write things down. I started to write in my journal. So I came up with this planner. It's called the Create the Life You Love Vision Planner Journal. Now, why is it a vision planner journal? Because I wanted something that was like a vision board that people can take on the go. Because people have vision boards, and I know you know a lot about vision boards. Mm-hmm. Vision boards changed my life too. But you have a vision board, you put pictures on there, you put words on there, but sometimes it's not right there in front of you. Sometimes you don't look at it every day, but this is like a on-the-go vision board. So that's why it's called a vision planner, to create the life you love, because it's all about creating the life you love, right? And we were talking about this earlier. What's happening now is a consciousness level shift. People's consciousness level is being shifted where they're starting to ask themselves, in the new normal, I don't know if I really like the old normal, because now I'm working from home. I'm spending more time with my family. I'm spending more time with my children. I'm going for more walks, and we're sitting down having dinner together. I don't know if the old normal served me well. So I don't know. I think I like this new normal. You know what I mean?
I do.
So
yes.
This vision planner journal, it comes with 50 plus positive affirmation stickers. We all know about positive affirmations. Why positive affirmations? What happens is there are two basic mindsets that shapes your lives. You basically have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is something that feels like, okay, my qualities are carved in stone. This is where I am. This is where I'm from. This is where my parents grew up. This is all I can be. That is when you know you have a fixed mindset. You're afraid of challenge. You want to do things the same way you've been doing it. That's having a fixed mindset. When you have a growth mindset, you understand that you can cultivate and change whatever you want through work and effort. So that is when you know you have a growth mindset. And most of the time, Lisa, people don't realize what's really holding them back. And it's because of their mindset. Their mindset is the barrier between where they are now and where they're trying to go. And so affirmations helps to reaffirm and retrain your thought process so you can start speaking positive things into your life. So that's what these positive affirmation stickers are for. So it'll say things like, do what you love, keep trying, believe in yourself, be kind, smile at life, things like that, because you need to constantly tell yourself these things, right? And so when you open it up, of course, you put your name in the planner here. So this is going to be your personal planner. And then when you open it up for the month, you have your monthly calendar for all your appointments, all your to-dos. I like to say this is like having a coach without having a coach, because now you're going to hold yourself accountable to the things that you're trying to create. And also what I love is that you have habit creators. So what are some of the habits, the bad habits that I need to change, or what are some of the good habits I'm trying to create? If I'm trying to lose weight, how many times a week am I going to go to the gym? What am I going to do? It's all about planning. And then at the end of the week, you have your mind map. What is that for? That's for all your ideas, all of the wonderful ideas that's just bursting to come out if you would just allow yourself to tap into it. So that's what this is about. It's about affirmations. It's about goals. It's about writing down your to-do list. And it's about also writing down the things that you're grateful for, because we kind of tend to take things like that for granted, things that are that we're so grateful for. And we sometimes we don't think about it. And then with social media, sometimes people are looking at what other people have and they're comparing themselves and they're like, my life sucks. No, your life does not suck. And everything that you see is not what you really see. So what you need to do is stop wasting all that time comparing yourself to somebody on social media and start writing down what you want to create the life that you love.
I love that so much, because everything that I want in a planner is exactly what you said. I don't want to have to carry 17 notebooks around in my day planner. And then, like you said, the vision board is not near me. And it's funny because I have a 7-year-old, Oliver is his name. And school, I can remember the very beginning, even in virtual school, which is so fun that I get to like listen and I get to like hear what he's talking about in school. And they were going over like rules, and I don't know what in context they were learning this in, but the teacher said, are there any rules that you guys have in your house? And kids were like, I have to brush my teeth before I go to bed, and I have to eat vegetables first before I can have a cookie. And my little Oliver raises his hand and he goes, in our household, we have a growth mindset. There isn't anything that we can't do. And I'm like, sitting across from the table, like nudging my husband, going, right? I love that you said you tell your clients unlearn a lot of the junk and the things that you've been programmed. Give yourself that permission to write and to dream and to journal and to mind map. And, even affirmations, they might seem so silly and weird and not normal, when you're first starting to do that. But there really is power in all, like I think about as parents, we are a parent. It's like,
yes.
Our parents taught us certain things and they tried to do the best they could. Some things are great, some things not so good. When I heard like my 7-year-old say that, I was like, okay, at least on the worst of days, I know that I am like training his mind. I was like, mom win for the day, like holy moly. But that's
awesome. So
I think about where he's going to go in his life when he gets a growth mindset at 7 years old. Because I never understood. I didn't understand a growth mindset until I was in my 30s, until the same as you. I found myself unhappy, overweight, like the whole bit, right? So when you can be proactive and start using these tools and the things that, like that planner that you created, that's so powerful. It's such a powerful tool. Right?
It really is. It really is. And you look back and then you can go through it and you can look at it and you can see, oh my gosh, I remember with my son, I started helping him write, because they say the hardest person to teach is somebody in your family. Yeah. So, it's like, I'm like, write down your goals. And he actually, what I do is I snapshot him in my phone. And once he's accomplished those goals, I'll text it to him. And just as a reminder, this is what you accomplished, because that is your motivator. When you see that, wow, I did this, is, what's next? It's nothing that I can't do. You just feel like unstoppable. You're like, I can have what I want. I can do what I want. I can be what I want. I create what I want. There's a famous quote, and it's by Leonardo da Vinci, and it's so eloquently said. It says, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So when we learn to simplify our lives, that's when you start to get the focus and the clarity, and like all this baggage, all this negativity, all this stuff that we keep carrying around. I always say, like, if you want to see change in your life, think about it like this. Think about you getting on this private jet, right? And you're like, I'm ready to go to the next place, the next destination. but I want to bring this luggage and this luggage and that and that and that. And then you have about 20 different pieces that you want to take on this plane. And some of them are too heavy. And you're like, I want to take it with me though. I need that. I need that. I need that. Oh, I need that too. And you want to get on a plane with all this stuff. And it's like, the plane cannot take off with all the old baggage. You got to get rid of some of the baggage. And think about it like that in your life. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's things, sometimes it's bad habits, sometimes it's any of those things. But you cannot take it with you to that next level that you're trying to get to.
Yeah, I love that analogy. It's so stinking true. We want to hold on to the comfort and the safety and the justifications and the reasons why we do these bad habits or the things that we do. And then you realize you're the only one that can change it.
That's right.
You're the only one that can drop that baggage. You're the only one. You know, when you think about even on a plane, the reason why they have that, you got to pay extra. So what's the cost of all that baggage that you're bringing in your life, right? You won't let go of. And then B, it's actually like a safety thing that the plane will crash if it's over
overloaded. Exactly.
Right? So you think about not only are you crashing yourself, you're crashing everybody else around you. You're not the best mom. You're not the best wife you can be. You're not the best entrepreneur or CEO or worker or whatever role is important to you in your life when you're carrying that baggage. And it's
absolutely.
I love that you have that planner and you have things that you can, again, tools that you can use to change your life. Because people go, well, okay,
where do I start?
Where do I start? What do I do?
Right.
Start journaling. Start with a pen and paper. Start
writing things down. Start setting goals. You know, goals are so important. And a lot of times people, I always say, out of sight, out of mind, right? Because if you have something in your head, but you didn't write it down, it's not something you're constantly thinking about. So when you write it down, it's almost like it forces you to achieve that goal, because now it becomes more tangible, it becomes more real, because you're looking at it and it's in your plan. You're like, okay, I got to do this. Okay, I got to do that. Okay, if I don't do this, this is what's going to happen. So it's really, goal setting is a powerful process for getting your ideal future to whatever it is that you want it to be. It's the process. It's the process for you changing your life. You know, without goals, without writing things down, without writing down things, without being specific about what you want, without setting clear and realistic goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, how are you going to achieve the things that you want? Mm-hmm. It's like having a vision, but having no action plan on how this vision is going to be manifested.
Words right out of my mouth, sister. That's my biggest bugaboo. And people get mad at me, probably the way your clients probably get mad at you sometimes when you like give them tough love or challenge them. And I always give all my friends and family, like them and my colleagues and peers, the toughest love around New Year's, because it's like, I got this vision board and I put some pictures and I'm like,
so excited.
I know, you're like, I love your excitement. Now, what are you gonna do to bring that to life? Because you can't just look at it. Yes, that clues into the universe what you want and what you're moving towards, but you actually have to take action. Absolutely. And start building those habits. And I love one thing you talked about a couple of minutes ago was your mission statement for your life. Because what came out for me when you were sharing that was it makes it really easy to know what to say yes to and what to say no to.
There you go.
That clarity alone, think of how tired we get making decisions. Should I, shouldn't I? Is this good for me? Is this bad for me? When you have your mission statement, you know, you're empowered, inspiring, happy, joyful, and somebody asks you to do something that isn't in line with that, thank you for thinking of me, but no thank you.
There you go.
No, I'm not interested in doing that, right? Or when something comes along that falls in line with that mission, you're like, absolutely, tell me more about that. Exactly. I'd love to take my time. I think the clarity and the awareness, you said you won't see something different unless you do something different.
Absolutely.
And that is so darn true, right? Maybe
Absolutely.
you got to start saying no because that doesn't align with your mission statement. Maybe
Yeah.
you got to start writing and journaling, and those words, you put together the pieces. I don't know if you do that, but whenever I'm trying to create something or name something or build something, I just like brain dump everything on a paper. And then it's like I take a little bit of this and I put it with a little bit of this and I put it with a little bit of that, and it becomes the thing. Right?
Absolutely. And I love that you said that, because when you said that, that reminded me over the holidays. You know, I'm a grandmother. I know I don't look like a grandmother, but I am. I have a grandson.
He's a glam mom.
He's 4 years old. And this past Christmas, he just turned 4 in February, but this past Christmas, I decided to get him some puzzles because he hasn't really been exposed to puzzles or even using that cognitive part of his brain. So I said, I want to get him things that's going to get him to start thinking. And the puzzles, they weren't like 1,000 pieces, about 12 to 15 pieces, you know, of like different animals, a lion, a bear, a zebra. And so, like you said, I dumped all the pieces of the puzzle on the table. Okay, so you gotta remember now, this is a 3-year-old and he's looking at me like, what in the heck is that? Okay, so I dumped the pieces of the puzzle on the table and he's giving me this look of frustration, confusion, anxiety even. I don't know if you can get anxiety when you're 3, but he looked pretty stressed, you know? So I'm like, don't worry, Gma. He calls me Gma. I said, Gma's gonna help you. Don't worry about it. So he has all the pieces of the puzzle on the table and he's taking the pieces and he's trying to put pieces, but he doesn't really know because he's never been exposed to doing puzzles. So he's fitting the wrong pieces and he's getting frustrated. I'm like, no, honey, let's start again. And so when I thought about that, I said to myself, this is really how life is for everyone. It's like a puzzle and you're taking these pieces that don't fit and you're like forcing it to go in this spot. And it's like, no, this puzzle does not go here. This relationship doesn't go here. This job doesn't go here. Okay. This doesn't go here. And you're trying to and it's really about you being willing to dump that puzzle of your life on the table and start over if you have to. And the pieces of the puzzle don't fit. Have the patience to try to figure out how to put those pieces together in your life, because that's what it's really about.
Yeah, no matter what age you are, no matter what stage you're in, you're not stuck. That's such a myth that, oh, well, I went and got this degree, so that's the job I have to have, or I married this. And I'm not like advocating for divorce, but maybe, you know, it's like I married this guy or this woman, and
right.
It's just the relationship that I'm
right.
stuck in.
Right.
You're not stuck.
Right.
You have the power, like you said.
You have the power to become unstuck.
Exactly. It's all a choice. Not going to be
Absolutely.
easy. Not to say it's not going to come with, you know, you're never going to struggle. You're never going to fail. You're never going to be challenged. Not saying that it's going to be easy.
Nothing is
But
easy.
once you put those puzzle pieces where they're supposed to go, that's like if you've ever done a big puzzle, like a 1,000-piece puzzle, or you get that last puzzle piece in and you're like, ooh, so good. Right? Or you're running a race and you cross that finish line. It feels so good, that accomplishment. You know, running was real crappy. Trying to find those pieces that didn't make sense was a struggle. But once you stuck through it and persevered, you have a life you love.
There you go. There you go.
So go ahead.
No, I just want to piggyback off what you said, because you know, creating the life you love is really about letting go of your past experiences and expectations and preconceived notions of what you think happiness means. And letting go of anything can be difficult in life. You know, like, we're not saying this is easy. We're saying it's work. It's work that you have to commit to. And it's work about having, you know, how to change those old negative thoughts, the mindset, the patterns, the habits. You know, they say the average person has between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. And of those thoughts, 85% are are negative and 95% are repetitive. So if you're constantly thinking negative about things, it becomes this part of your life where it's like, okay, I'm not going to try, I'm not going to do, I'm not going to, and it's that negative thought. And thinking positive, of course, is it easy? No. Does it take work? Yes. But is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it. It's worth it because you can create the life you love. You can set the tone for your life. You don't have to let people control your decisions or what makes you feel happy or what you want to do. You become the navigator of your life. And you don't have all these outside pieces and sources of people telling you, well, you know what, that's not right for you. That's not right for you. No, you start to realize that I know who I am. You know, it's really about getting to know who you are. Like we said in the beginning, the most important question you will ever ask yourself is, why am I here?
I love that so much. It's just such your energy, your tips, like it's just such a dose of like, go out there and do something, people, please, right? Or if you're in something that isn't working, have the courage to make a change. And you don't have to do it alone. That's why there are life coaches. That's why there are strategists. That's why there are therapists. That's why there are people. I think that's one of the biggest fallacies is that you're like, okay, I know what I need to change. I'm going to go do it. But then you have to do it alone. You hire people like us. You get help. You don't have to do it alone. Someone that can hold you accountable and hold your hand throughout the way is gonna get you there faster and a lot more sane when you do it with help, right? Than trying to do it yourself.
Absolutely. And as a life coach, you know, people always say, well, what's the difference between a therapist and a life coach? Well, a therapist, they focus on your past and your childhood and all that stuff and figure out like why. A life coach, they focus on your present. They focus on your right now and where you are and how to get to where you're trying to go. So it's really about, as a life coach, you meet people where they are and say, okay, this is what you need to do differently. This is what you need to change. This is what you need to, and that's when they start to get that, you know, it's so exciting when you see your clients get that aha moment. You know, it's like, yes, that's what I was trying to tell you all along.
But it took you having to see it for yourself to make the change.
Absolutely.
Totally. That's so powerful. Ah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So you have a free download, a free gift for them. 5 secrets to turn your passion into profits. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So I have this free guide for you, and it's the 5 secrets that I have used to transform my life. So I'm sharing that with you for free. These are things that you can implement right now, action steps that you can take right now. So it's the 5 secrets to turn your passion into profits to create the life you love. And you can go to the website, www.georgiawoodbine.com, put your name, put your email, and we will be getting you that free guide right into your email.
I love that so much. And don't worry, listeners, if you are driving the car, you got a kid in each hand, or you're just not able to take notes, I will make sure that all of this goodness is in the show notes, and especially how you can get in touch with Georgia. I'll have her website, her Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, book information, this PDF, all sorts of stuff if you want to take the next step and dive in further with all the great stuff that you have to offer. And that's why I just love having people like you on the podcast, because it just gives hope to people that they can make a change. They aren't alone. It's never too late to go after whatever it is that you love, whatever it is that you want, you know, shamelessly, unapologetically going after. It's your life. I always say that to people. It's, oh, but this person's going to be mad at me. Oh, but it's your life. So I love that your whole thing is about creating the life that you love. You have
absolutely, absolutely. You know, sometimes people are so stuck on the past, you know, worrying about their past, fretting about their future. And it's really about living in the right now. Once you understand that, people say to me, Georgia, have you cracked the code to living a healthier and happier lifestyle? And I tell them, Of course I have, because I realize that there's nothing missing. I have access. I have access to whatever I want to create. I have this powerful mind. And if I put it into action by setting goals, by speaking affirmations, by meditating, by doing all of these things, I can create whatever it is I want to create because I have the ability to do that. So, of course, I've cracked the code. That is the code.
That is the code. And once you see life through that lens, it becomes so much more fun. It becomes so much more joyful and so much more purposeful, for sure.
Absolutely.
Georgia, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Such a joy. And listeners, thank you for tuning in and being here. I hope this episode served you. I hope it's one that you'll go back to, because you're always going to be hit with challenges, and you're always going to, as you grow, you're going to want different things in your life. You're going to want to grow. So this is a great, great, great episode to come back to get that inspiration, those how-to tips. And so, so, so glad that you're here. We'll see you again next time on The Lisa Pizik Show.